Lights off and ID's out. Hello, ma'am.
Sorry, 1 second. It's loading. Look.
All right. Let's speed this up, please. Thank you.
With all of your conniving, you lost your charm. You built the flame that warms.
Is this Papa Carmen?
Excuse me. That's my car.
Where to?
Just head downtown.
And I'm moving on.
Can you stop here? Can we fix his phone tonight? It's really slow.
You could turn off the performance management feature, but it may lead to unexpected shutdowns.
Battery throttling.
Or you can just upgrade it.
Oh, I'm moving on. Yes, I'm moving on. I'm moving on.
Okay, so we are going to call Samsung here, 1-800-726-7864. The number on samsung.com/us/support.
Thank you for calling Samsung. This is Annette. How may I assist you today?
Hi, thank you so much. I have a Samsung Galaxy S7, the normal version, not the Edge. I bought it in mid-2016, and the battery is starting to die really, really quickly. So I just wanted to know what I would have to do to go about getting it replaced. I'm happy to pay for a replacement.
All right, let me see. I can set you up for a how would I do that? Since your phone is, because you said, how long have you had it?
I bought it in mid-2016, so it's almost 2 years old now. So it's out of warranty, so I fully expect that I have to pay for it.
Yes, sir. I'm just trying to, because not like, I know like with, when you're in warranty, we just do an accessory exchange and swap out the battery. So let me see. If you don't mind, I'm going to put you on a brief 1 to 2 minute hold, and I'm going to see what we'll do for when you're not in warranty, okay?
No worries. Take your time, man.
All right. Thank you for holding.
All right. You have a nice day.
All right, sir. Thank you for holding. What you'll have to do is I can give you the number to J&J Parts, which is a Samsung authorized parts dealer, or either you can go to samsungparts.com and purchase one from there.
Now, this is pretty cool. Before I even said that I wanted them to replace the battery in my phone, they're already sending me to a site that is authorized by Samsung to sell Samsung parts. We're not talking about eBay or random websites that are getting stuff that fell off a truck in China, but the actual real deal. So if we check out samsungparts.com here, I can type in the model of my phone, which is written on the back of my phone. I click, and then I have access to all different types of Samsung parts. So if I want a battery, I can go here and get myself a battery for my phone. I can even buy the original adhesive that holds it in, and you can even buy the battery connector on the motherboard. This is unheard of. Apple will not sell the battery by itself. They'll only sell the service at the Apple Store. So if you're not close to an Apple Store, that sucks. But you can actually buy the connector that attaches it to the board, which I was not expecting Samsung to do at all. That's absolutely unheard of. Now, they don't have product images. Their site is not exactly on the level of something like store.rossmangroup.com. I understand that Samsung's not exactly working with that type of high budget that we have here. They can't afford people like our on-premises photographer, Paul. Paul, take a bow for everybody. So, yeah, they can't afford this type of level of pictures, but at the same time, it's really amazing that you can do that. It's not just batteries. You can buy all different types of parts for the phone in here. You can buy, let's see, can you buy an LCD screen? Because that's a big part of the problem. You can't buy original LCD screens to Apple products from Apple, even if you're a repair shop that's licensed. Whereas with Samsung, you can buy an LCD assembly from their own website that you have a guarantee is an original Samsung, not a counterfeit, not a knockoff. So you can do it yourself. Granted, the price is a little high. These AMOLED screens are pretty expensive, but there's a lot of different parts that you can purchase from this website, which I found pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, you can buy sensors. You can buy, let's see, you can get switches. Yeah, there's all different types of stuff that you can buy for your phone here. Again, the site is not exactly amazing, so you probably have to know what you're doing and know what these part numbers are. It's just that they don't have any product images, but this is a far cry from a lot of other companies that are just going to give you the middle finger if you ask for spare parts to fix any of their phones. You know, ask Apple for a power button for an out-of-warranty phone that you can buy to fix yourself. They're going to laugh at you. However, we do have to be fair here. they are charging about $44 for the battery by itself. If I were to go into an Apple store, they will replace the battery for $29, including the part. So with Apple, part plus labor is $29. Let's figure out what Samsung charges for the battery on this out-of-warranty phone, parts and labor. I'm pretty sure it's going to wind up costing more than Apple, because Samsung charges more for the battery by itself than Apple does for the entire service. All right, the thing is, this phone, I don't know if you're familiar, is sealed shut. I don't really know how to get into it, I don't want to break it accidentally opening it myself, since I don't know what I'm doing. I'm happy to pay somebody else to do it, even if it's over $100. Is there any way that I could pay Samsung to replace the battery in my phone for me?
I can see if it's a walk-in service center near you. Just a minute. Because, see, if you do service through us, you'll have to send it in and all that.
I'm fine to send it in. So is there a way that I would be able to send it in for service?
Yes, sir. Let me see. You said your battery is dying fast?
Yeah. It's gotten to the point where it works for about an hour and a half and then dies, even if I'm not doing anything.
So it only works for an hour and a half and then it shuts off.
Yeah, and I've used it every single day. I've drained the battery every single day. I've had it for the past 2 years. So
wow.
Yeah, so I'm sure that I've used the battery very heavily.
Is there any physical or liquid damage?
No physical or liquid damage. It's been very easy. It's used indoors most of the time, and it's well protected. It's just, but I have it on playing stuff and working on stuff all day long. Like it sits on my desk streaming, so for the entire 8 hours of my workday, and so.
Okay. Well, this one was a name. And you use the factory charger when you charge it?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I know the third-party chargers can kill the phone, so I always use the one that came in the box.
And the repair estimate, it may change, but right now it's only $70.31.
Oh, so it would just be $70 to replace the battery? That sounds like a good deal.
Yeah, that's the repair estimate right now. It shouldn't change, because you said you don't have any physical or liquid damage to the phone, so it shouldn't change. But like I said, what the repair center do, they run diagnostic tests and stuff on the phone. And then...
All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
All right, bye-bye.
And I'm back.
All right, so this is one of those very few cases where I would say that Apple is actually providing a better experience than Samsung. Even before the price drop, Apple was replacing the batteries in store for $79, whereas Samsung is doing it for $70, but you have to mail the phone in, since most likely you don't live near a Samsung service center. So you're only paying a $9 premium for the fact that you can have the battery replacement done much quicker and in person. But now you can have that battery replacement done by Apple for $29, which just blows Samsung's $70 claim out of the water. However, I will give Samsung this. They recommended me to a website where I can buy all different types of spare parts to my phone: volume buttons, casings, batteries, switches, sensors, which you will not find Apple doing. And they also offered to fix my phone if I was willing to send it in or go to a service center. Now, I will say here that Apple offers a slightly better experience on the battery. They have more retail stores. Those stores will replace the battery in the store. I know, going to an Apple store, a lot of the times the retail store is useless because they don't help you. But one of the few things Apple stores can be trusted to do is replace the battery in your iPhone. They will replace that battery cheaper than Samsung, so you will save about $40 by having your battery replaced on your iPhone than you will having a battery replaced on a Samsung. And fourthly, they're criticizing for lag. They're saying like, oh, look, the phone slows down when it gets old. Now, do I think that Apple should be slapped upside the head for the fact that they were not sending notifications to people's phones saying, hey, your battery is getting really, really old. Would you like to replace it? Yes. Do I think that Apple should be smacked upside the head for the fact that for many, many years, they did not even replace people's batteries? Yes. If you were willing to spend $200 to have your battery replaced in your iPhone 3 at an Apple store, they wouldn't do it. And with the iPhone 4, there were still cases where they refused to place the battery, fewer and further between. It was only with the newer iPhones that they were willing to actually service the battery. For the longest time, you could go to an Apple store with an appointment and they would not replace your battery. And that was messed up. During those times, during the days of the iPhone 3, if Samsung made this ad, I would be high-fiving them saying, by all means, go ahead and crap on Apple. But to make that ad in mid-2018, in my opinion, is very tone deaf to the fact that in this specific case, Apple's service is actually better than yours. Not only are they going to replace the battery, not only do they have more store locations to service customers than you, but they're also doing it $40 cheaper. So I don't really understand why it is that you want consumers to do research into this to figure out that your competitor is actually better than you in this small regard. Now, when it comes to lag, Samsung, you're going to make fun of another manufacturer when it comes to lag. I'm sorry. Wasn't it you that was using TLC memory instead of MLC? Wasn't it you that was using memory that had a much shorter life cycle than other companies? Wasn't it you that was using that memory in your Note 1 and Note 2, which became so painfully slow after a year and a half that they were barely usable, even if you did a factory data reset? And isn't it you that are using TouchWiz on these phones instead of stock Android, which makes them slower? I remember when I was comparing my Samsung S5, which cost $600, to my Moto G, which cost less than $250, noticing that my Moto G, on average, which was third generation, was actually faster than my Samsung S5. The reason for that is that the Motorola series, they don't give you complete stock Android. They give you like 99% stock Android. Whereas Samsung puts skins on their phone, and these skins are something that very few people want. I have never in my life met somebody that said, oh yeah, I totally buy Samsung for TouchWiz. I will not buy a phone if it doesn't have TouchWiz. No. They like the screen, they like the fact that it looks really nice, they like the fact that it's liquid resistant, and it's marketed everywhere. And they were one of the first companies to come out with a large style smartphone, along with HTC with the Evo 4G back in 2010. Before then, you really didn't have any option if you wanted a large screen smartphone. Between 2010 and 2012, most manufacturers used really bad screens in their smartphones. Back then, if you wanted to be able to watch television on the go, on the train, if you had a Samsung, it looked 10 times better than all the other phones because of the AMOLED screen, in contrast to the crappy LCDs everybody else was using where the black levels were all off and it looked awful. So that was why people were buying your phones. But I can't remember the last time somebody said, oh yeah, I buy a Samsung phone because they never lag. No. With the memory that you've used in your past phones and the fact that to this day you continue to load that pile of garbage called TouchWiz onto your devices, don't be making fun of other manufacturers for lag, because that's really the pot calling the kettle black. If you want to make fun of Apple because they didn't learn until the iPhone 6 how to make phones with power buttons and volume buttons that didn't break in less than a year, by all means go ahead. That's an easy one. If you want to make fun of Apple for the fact that their phones would bend very easily, and that even with the iPhone 7 they're having baseband issues and they're having audio IC issues, that the iPhone 6 Plus had touch disease and would bend into a little arch, by all means, make fun of them for that. If you want to make fun of them for their draconian rules in their app store that reject things like the new Steam ID app or the missing the headphone jack, there are so many reasons that you can make fun of Apple that are legitimate. But when you make fun of Apple for the things that they're actually doing considerably better than you and cheaper than you, it makes you look foolish. You're making fun of Apple for the two things that they manage to do better than you: not lag and replacing batteries. Why is it that when you're replacing batteries for $70 with mailing, that you're making fun of a company that's replacing batteries for $29 with a store? Why is it that when you make phones that lag and that have this extra nonsensical overlay, that you're making fun of companies that don't have that in their devices? It seems tone deaf and silly and asinine to me that you would include this in your marketing. Market based on what makes you great, not on what makes you worse. And, again, removable back of the phone would be lovely. Like, if you want to make fun of this whole planned obsolescence thing, would be nice if you would actually make it so that we can replace our batteries without using a heat gun. You managed to keep the Samsung S5 to be liquid resistant while having a removable back. Would be great to have that in these later devices, but just, pot calling the kettle black. I don't like Apple. I like beating on Apple as much as anybody else, but when I see ads like this, there's so much potential. There's so much wasted potential. You could have made such an amazing ad slam dunking on all the stupid Apple crap, and yet you choose the battery.